Hello, everybody. My name is Antoni Abat, and I'm going to talk about my last book, Constitutional Crowdsourcing, Democratizing Original and Derivate Constituent Power in the Network Society. First of all, let me thank the blog di Diritto Comparati and the colleague Cristina Fasone for allowing me to talk about the last book, which is published by Edward Elgar. So the book basically deals with the effects and potentialities that the network society, digitalization, artificial intelligence may develop in the democratic legitimacy and constitutional law and constitutionalism. The idea of the book came from a long time ago when I started to do my PhD, and I did some research on technology and the effects of technology in human nature, basically with the work of Habermas, Horkheimer, and Hannah Arendt. And then as a scholar of constitutional law and legal philosophy, so the effects that technology and especially internet and the network society may develop on constitutionalism and the role that the people may play in constitutional law through uh, through through constitutional crowdsourcing, which implies this network society and digital means. The book is basically structured in three main sections. The first one is an introduction, is a fake judgment between Demos and Aristos, where I analyze along the history the role that the people has been playing and the precautions and reservations that legal and political systems had in order to attribute to the people the capacity of decision making in the realm of constitutional law. Then the second section of the book is a epistemological construction, which is divided into two main chapters. The first one, I analyze the concept of crowd since the very origins of the term, as demos, pletos, laos, plebs in Athenian democracy, and also Roman in the Roman Republic. Then I follow by analyzing the transformation in the medieval era, basically through Santo Tomas and Machiavelli, which plays a very important role in the book as the author that make the rehabilitation of the concept of demos. Then I jump up to the concept of demos in republicanism, basically analyzing the accommodation of the term by Montesquieu and Condorcet, and also the debates between federalist and anti-federalist papers. Basically, I analyze this the conception and definition of crowd. The second chapter of this second section is the analysis of and investigation of the concept of network society, dealing basically with the definition that Manuel Castells and Van Dyck did, and how this concept affects constitutionalism and constitutional law. I then focus on three main items. The first one is the concept of Homo Digitalis, which is an analysis about how us human beings we are changing and evolving since basically the work of Giovanni Sartori and the Homo Videns, also dealing with Heidegger and this concept of techne and episteme, and also related with, as I said previously, with Habermas work. So I'm trying to define this evolution and how these new technologies and artificial intelligence is affecting our human nature, and how this affects the way that we play politics and we prove and interpret constitutions. I've second item that I develop in this second section of the second chapter is the concept of digital citizenship. I work out the concept of citizenship. I basically analyze the different conceptions and of citizenship. I focus on the work of Dmitry Koshenov and how this is transplanted or transposed to the digital era. and I finally end with the concept of public digital sphere, and how the digital sphere in the digital public sphere, sorry, is fused, and how difficult it is to make a clear border between the public and the private sphere in the digital sphere, right? Then the last section of the book deals with is a more constitutional, is the constitutional section. It deals with the constitutional making and constitutional interpretation of how the digital means can be used in order to enable people to participate in both making and interpreting constitutions. I deal first with an evolution of the role that the people played from a very testimonial and ratification people, and the origins of modern constitutionalism in the French Revolution, 1791, 1793, American constitutionalism, and then how it jumped up to the post Second World War referendum, etc., etc. It follows by a next step, further step, in order to attribute a little bit more responsibility and all the people on constitutional making. I analyze the case of Colombia, where the people is involved in the constituent process, and it ends by analyzing the case of constitutional crowdsourcing that was implemented in Iceland, and why this process failed, and what lessons we can learn from this process, which, by the way, is not per se a failure process. It can be also understood as a successful in order of the improvements that the process provided to enable the people to participate. Then I end with the last chapter, which is how can we involve people in the interpretation of constitutional texts, dealing with some examples that I have allocate some power to the people to choose magistrates in the constitutional arena, starting by some examples of U.S. subnational constitutionalism. Then I follow up with the case of Japan. Also, I analyze in a comparative perspective the city constitution of Ciudad de Mexico, and the process that happened there. You can see some parallelisms with the case of Iceland, and how the status quo on the power limits the attributions to the people. And then I also mentioned the case of Bolivia in the two examples that the people was able to choose constitutional court magistrates. It ends with an experimental chapter, which I define idicasteria, which is a term in Greek of the people who participate in the courts, in the juries. So I adapt this concept of idicasteria in the network society, in technologies, creating a sort of constitutional jury, which is not substituting the constitutional court, but they cohabit. Both of them are, in this experimental example, they are collaborating and deciding which decisions that end in a constitutional court, which are basically political, needs to be decided by the sovereign, which is the people. Others decisions which are more technical or more strictly legal need to be decided by legal expertise, which are the constitutional court. So this is the book that I wrote. I hope that if you have the possibility, you will read it, and I hopefully you will enjoy it. And I believe that I'm providing some new insights on the topic, and some philosophical and legal reflections on how the network society may enable avenues to improve the role of the people in constitutional items and in the constitutional domain. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.